Committee on Oversight and Government Reform will come to order. Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare a recess at any time. The chair notes the presence of our colleague, Congressman Bobby Scott from Virginia. We appreciate his interest in this topic and welcome your participation today, sir. I ask unanimous consent that Congressman Scott be allowed to fully participate in today's hearing. Without objection, it will be so ordered. I would also like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record statements from the following organizations: the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, the National College Access Network, the American Council on Education, and EPIC. Today we are here to talk about a data breach involving a Department of Education website and an IRS web-based application. Every day, literally, adversaries and criminals conduct an unknown number of sophisticated and devastating cyber attacks against our nation. To get the government ahead of the curve will require even more effort on the part of agency heads and chief information officers as we begin the task of modernizing old, outdated, and insecure federal technologies and network architectures. But we cannot calibrate our defenses and buy the right security platforms unless we understand the threat. We must be honest and transparent about what risks that we face and what damage is being done. Ignoring the problem or underestimating the threat places our nation and its citizens in danger. Once again, we find ourselves in the Oversight Committee investigating a data breach. Hackers were trying to file fraudulent tax returns and steal refunds. To accomplish this crime, they turned to the Department of Education's FAFSA, or Free Application for Federal Student Aid.gov network, and the data retrieval tool, which was designed to try to aid in financial applications. To get the one piece of information that they desired that they couldn't buy in the marketplace, they came to the tool, specifically taxpayers' adjusted gross income data. You need that AGI to authenticate your identity for the IRS and file your tax returns. So all hackers needed to do was go to the dark web, buy a cache of American taxpayer personally identifiable information, use that to get into the FAFSA.gov and the data retrieval tool, and then they had everything that they needed to steal tax-paying citizens' refunds. This is exactly the kind of hacking scheme that the federal agencies must be aware of when they make their services available online. If sensitive data can be accessed through an online application, it must be secured with strong authentication measures and appropriately encrypted. We need to call these events what they are: data breaches and major incidents. Facing the truth is important not only because the incidents ultimately affect tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of American taxpayers and probably millions of students applying for student aid, but it also because without understanding the threats we face, we can't protect ourselves. It took the Internal Revenue Service almost 3 months to determine that this was a major data breach incident that required congressional notification per FSMA requirements. And the department is still not calling this a major incident, and I would like to find out, and I'm sure my colleagues, why. This is not about wordsmithing. What we call these incidents helps us bring the full weight of the federal government to bear on the cyber response, getting help to those that have been impacted and making sure the vulnerabilities are defended. Cybersecurity is a team sport. A leak at one end of the pipe or the other still creates a leak. Agencies must safeguard their data and make sure it goes where they intend. If we have other organizations' tools or technologies hooked up to our networks or websites, then we are responsible. It only takes one vulnerability, and then everyone who is connected to that vulnerability is at risk. What is so troubling about this incident is that it was detected through suspicious activity accidentally. The hackers inadvertently targeted an IRS employee. Criminals do make dumb mistakes, but so do agencies. I'd like to think our detection and defense abilities are more advanced than mistakes of criminals, relying on the dumb mistakes that they make. We aren't going to win this fight unless we understand the threats that we face, the damage that hackers and enemies are doing to us, and what we as a Congress can do to empower agency heads and CIOs to protect our networks. The first step in fighting back is wearing our mistakes like a badge. We should follow it with some grit and determination to not let it happen to the areas of government that have been entrusted to our charge. And with that, I would like to yield to the ranking member, Mr. Cummings.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. No matter who may define it, this is a major incident.